day everyone, this is Group 1 reporting for Symbolic Annihilation. What is Symbolic Annihilation? Let us find out. Symbolic annihilation is a term used to describe the absence of representation or underrepresentation of some group of people in the media. It is usually applied to media criticism in the fields of feminism and queer theory to describe the ways in which the media promotes stereotypes and denies specific identities. Symbolic annihilation usually affects those people with different types of gender identity. Symbolic annihilation usually affects those people with different types of gender identities, those who identify themselves as part of the LGBTQ community and those with different race. This is a problem the youth should be aware of because it affects a big group of people and it also takes away their right to be heard. Since this generation is brave enough to deal with complicated topics, they can help lessen or even better remove the media criticism for some people and the reason for their neglection. We will have the examples for this topic later, but for now, we will move on to the key points.
So, key points. George Gibner in 1976 explained how some groups do not represent in the media. Symbolic annihilations means the absence of representations or underrepresentations of some group in the media, often based on their group, race, gender, sexual orientations, etc. So Gay Touchman in 1978 divided the concept of symbolic annihilations into three aspects: omission, trivializations, and commendations. A multifaceted approach to coverage not only verifies the communities of the denied, but to work members invisible through the explanations that cope representations in all forms of media. Absence of representations of or misrepresentations of marginalized people in the media. Absence means symbolic annihilations. So George Gibner coined the term symbolic annihilations in 1976 and stated that representations in a fictional world signifies social excesses. Sociologist Premier Borko describes symbolic annihilations as a form of simple violence that describes the legitimacy of an identity. So society is susceptible to the media. It comes to the social norms and is spiked by the media. Researcher named Gay Touchman says most of the media portrays women, if not all, in traditional roles: homemakers, mother, or if they are in the paid workforce, clerical and other pink-collar jobs. Correspondingly, these are a few depositions of a strong female character in position of responsibilities or authority even in the homes. Symbolic annihilations is a huge underrepresentation of certain groups such as LGBT community in the mass media today in history. As this group undercurrents are completely underrepresented in further encourage the segmentations of such group of society. So the effects of underrepresentation of certain groups in media establish stereotypes for the specific groups and can spread negative feelings or misinformations. So this results is limiting our growth opportunities for our communities and keep us stereotype into a social structures. This affects our contributions and power to make changes in the world.
Hello everyone, I'm SHANTEL and here are some examples of symbolic annihilation, which is sex, race, sexual orientation, religion, and socioeconomic status. So, symbolic annihilation generally applied to women, racial, and sexual minorities. Symbolic annihilation points to the way in which poor media treatment can contribute to social disempowerment and in which symbolic absence in the media can erase groups and individuals from public consciousness. To illustrate, popular communication often overlooks, stereotypes, or ridicules Black people who have been confined to the roles of coons, mummies, Jezebels, brutal bucks, etc. The use of language in the media also contributes to the trivialization and condemnation of racial groups such as Black people in popular communication. For example, in a critical cultural analysis of the news, it was concluded that reporters may ignore the effect of neo-colonialism by describing African countries as third world and underdeveloped rather than overly exploited. Comparatively, the US and Western Europe are referred to as first world and as superpowers. Dutchman surveys the substantive content of the mass media, television, newspaper, magazines, and the advertising they carry to gather support to the argument that by largely ignoring women or portraying them in the stereotypical roles of victim and or consumer, the mass media symbolically annihilate women. Dutchman notes that most media portray women, if at all, in traditional roles like homemaker, mother, or if they are in paid workforce, clerical and other pink-collar jobs. Correspondingly, there are few, if any, depictions of strong female characters in position of responsibility or authority, even inside a home. Similarly, women's magazines focus on the domestic pursuits like marriage, child-rearing, and the like, while not encouraging education, training, and other choices that tend to bring individuals into position of power, authority, and independence. Instead, women generally are shown to be defined in terms of their relationship with men, suggesting that women are, in the end, dependent and capable of their own lives without male guidance. Through an analysis of traditional mass media content, Dutchman wrote, by largely ignoring women or portraying them in stereotypical roles of victims and consumer, mass media symbolically annihilate women. This conceptualization of symbolic annihilations constitutes omission, trivialization, and contempt, contributing to reinforce stereotypical conceptions of the affected individuals and maintaining social inequalities.
So, here are the example scenarios of symbolic annihilation. So, sexual orientation is protected class, just like race and gender, meaning employers cannot discriminate against workers due to heterosexuality, homosexual, and bisexuality. So, how do you know if discrimination is present in the workplace? So, here are 5 examples that you know and want to watch out for. So, number 1 is giving workers of certain sexual orientation lowering rankings and worse reviews than other workers for no reason other than their orientation. So, number 2 is handing out promotion to workers of one sexual orientation over workers of another. Then the next one is showing any other type of preferential treatment, such as giving more desirable jobs or position to those specific orientation. So the fourth one is discrimination. Discrimination in any way based on assumed orientation, whether that is true or not. For instance, it is illegal to pass over someone for promotion on the grounds then he or she is thought to be a homosexual orientation, even if the reality of the worker is of homosexual orientation. So the last one is insulting someone or making disparaging remarks, threatening them, or doing any other type of bullying based on orientation. So any actions that can create a hostile work environment is prohibited. So is it worth nothing then all the workers will agree what creates a hostile work environment? So for example, one worker could feel that he or she is being bullied while the others say they're just joking around. So this could still make a hostile workplace even if the workers carrying out the discrimination did not have that intent. So it is very important for people to know that all of their rights in the workplace and what legal options they have when those rights are breached.
Good day everyone, and to you Miss Professor SHEILALAINE ROMULO. and to my ka-technologist classmate. I'm Clint Noel P. Laurito. Topic DI is talk about symbolic annihilation. When we talk about this symbolic annihilation, we talk about the race, the sexual orientation, and gender, socio-economic status, and etc. Then, for me, I assigned the part of 5.4, what have been done so far about this topic, the symbolic annihilation. Find out whether the country or the world, the United Nations, has done something to end such practices. Okay, so the United Nations, the UN, has taken many steps to combat discrimination, including those that address feminist and queer theory. Therefore, a law that is anti-feminist, which is supported rather by the United Nations and some ambassadors who stands and advocate for the liberty of each individual, such as actresses in Hollywood and so on. As a result, this demonstrates that every single person who resides on this planet possesses morality, dignity, and freedom to choose to be what they like and to do whatever things they want with their bodies. Okay. So for me no, so sa statement lang ana na free jud ta no, dili ingon nga kanang sa ato ang atong economic sa atong system lang diri sa Pilipinas, we should, I mean, daghan kayo ang mga racism siguro to, or kanang something like naay mo discriminate sa imuha appearance or sa imuhang so kana bitong mga name calling, if you kuha na ng mga name calling jud ba, di man jud na malikayan no sa mga bisag asa ka na jud mo kuan. Pero anyways, please do not hobby lang nga mag name calling, kay wala ta kabaw na nga person if still depressed, anxieties, or any nga kanang mga problems sa tuang kuan ba, mental health pa ana. Then as a result of the fact that they subscribe to the philosophy of my body, my duty, yes, as a result of this kind of phenomenon, great numbers of governments, groups of individuals, and brotherhood and sisterhoods and act to stop such negative societal problems. The United Nations is taking a stand for the better future ahead of time in order to put an end of stagnation, yes, criticism dito, and prejudice that exists between peoples. So, maura na ang ako ang part no sa symbolic annihilation, that the question is what have been done so far. So the next reporter goes to 5.5. Thank you so much and have a great day, everyone.
Statement of Insight. Symbolic Annihilation highlights how underrepresented women's full potential, diversity of race and culture, sexual orientation, and other topics are presented. This concept shows how overlooked the issues and roles of groups of people. In summary, symbolic annihilation helps in communicating the inherent problems associated with inadequate media representation. Inadequate representation establishes stereotypes, propagate unfavorable feelings or inaccurate information, and can even encourage discrimination. So the media, that has a significant impact on the viewer's beliefs, opinions, and knowledge because of their vast power, should focus on the strengths and positive attributes of women, people of color, and other groups. What media should do is to be more inclusive, avoid using language that condemns racial groups, and concentrate on promoting women's careers and other admirable qualities. Remove all the biases and social inequality throughout the media industry and represent those that are in minority groups properly. People in minority groups should be represented fairly and accurately.